own racism. That's fun.
Yeah, but why is it that if you're nice about it, that racism's okay? If you're cool, if it's fun.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Wow. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Smith Radio Breaking News Left and Right. Sunday evening at 5 o'clock on the East Coast. It is June 7th, 2015, for those of you on iHeart or iTunes and internet radio land, if you will.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, we probably have a couple new audience members tonight since I posted on... First of all, the guy who uploaded this video, we're
breaking news on.
Yeah, I mean, this is very, very first article on Yahoo when you open it up. When you open up yahoo.com, the articles are in order of popularity or breaking news type of stuff. The very first number one article on Yahoo is this. It's just
your host Brian Smith along with
Carrie Smith breaking
the news.
Yeah, we gotta go right into it. So this hour we're gonna be talking to you about this video that some kid posted up about cops coming. Basically, what happened was it was a domestic disturbance.
Right.
There was an argument that must have led to possibly a scuffle. This is so breaking that that kind of detail is now, and that detail doesn't even matter because what happened in the ensuing moments after the cops got there is what is going to be all the news, which is basically cops come to a pool party with a bunch of kids, and by kids I mean teenagers.
They were young.
I mean, they were under 18.
Right.
Certainly.
I looked through the crowd of all of the kids, and
certainly under 18.
And I'll be honest with you, I was looking at this, trying to pick out thugs, gangsters, some of the hoodlums.
No, you know what these were?
Trying to cause problems.
These were really misguided kids. That's all they are. They weren't even there. I don't even think there was any evil people in here. No. I think they were just so poorly raised. You know what they are? They're good kids. They want to be good. They want to do right. I could tell this. Just by watching this watching this YouTube video that these kids are probably good kids. But they were so thrown off course by either A, poor parenting. I'm not sure though. It could, maybe their parents are good parents, but certainly if it wasn't the parents that were misguiding them, it was their influence of pop culture that they're involved in, whether it's the music or the videos that they watch or just the friends that they hang out with or whatever. And also just listening to the news media for the past 2 years or so, or with the Ferguson and the Baltimore and all this crazy stuff going on with the basically the journalists of the day, the drive-by journalists who are pushing racial tensions and hatred towards cops and instilling in these young, impressionable minds. These are like 15, 16, probably 14, 13
right. There's
year
some young
kids.
There were some young kids in that crowd.
And the only thing they know about the world is what they're being told or what they're being showed in media. And at that age, what they're being told is fact and truth to them, and it's reality. That's it.
Well, then a lot of times, too, especially for me, and I had to break out of this, is that if I heard something, not that it was on the internet, because we didn't have that back then, but somebody told me something.
Back when you used to have, it was word of mouth.
Yes!
They didn't even have books.
I tell this story all the time, but I had a history teacher that told me he went through all the, this was in college, and he went through every single president, and it took him maybe like an hour per president, except for one, Calvin Coolidge.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and we get to Calvin Coolidge, slept 16 hours a day, and that's about all we got on him. Bad president. Well, moved on.
And the thing about communist propaganda or leftist propaganda.
I thought that was so funny. I loved that. I thought it was funny.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I repeated it.
For years.
For years.
So you
I was a moron.
You had to teach yourself the truth.
One day, and it's ironic, one day I said to myself, you know what? I don't know nothing about Calvin Coolidge.
You thought you did.
Him up.
You thought you did.
I thought I did. It's one sentence. That's all I needed to know. So I looked him up. He was the precursor to Ronald Reagan. He was probably the only president that went to the White House to remove everything. Like, he went up there with a hacksaw.
Yeah, the bad stuff.
And started chopping it down.
Man, we need one of those. And it's funny because even Reagan, even though Reagan slashed some things out, I mean, his whole thing is we were in a real serious and long-term battle with not just communists in general or communism in general, but a country whose whole thing is communist and in communism, which was the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic or the Soviet Union. So his whole thing is to go in there and defeat communism by defeating the Soviet Union. Because back then, see, Brian and I were alive back then, and we lived a little bit of it, the trail end of it anyway.
Yeah.
And to us, when you hear commies or communists, all we knew is if it isn't a Russian, it's somebody who supports the Russians. And that's it. That's all we knew about it.
Right.
And so for Ronald Reagan to come in and decide to battle communism, you had to defeat the Soviet Union. And so that he did everything that he needed to do that, which includes expanding a lot of things, as far as like the military's concerned and all that kind of stuff. And there was a lot of big spending on that, but that's what you got to do back then to defeat the Soviet Union. For those of you that don't know, he realized that they couldn't keep up with us economically,
right,
when it comes to a arms race. So Reagan kind of showed them, we're going to build up arms, and kind of hinted to defeat you guys.
Right. Well, capitalism, it was a display of capitalism versus communism.
Yeah.
The two ideologies head to head, going at it
with the pedal to the metal.
Right. And no holds barred. I mean, it was all in, all out, and both sides wanted to win. Come hell or high water, our entire country will die or will win.
Right, and at the time we didn't know.
That's when the Soviet Union completely collapsed.
Right, and at the time nobody knew, and in fact the leftists were certain. They were certain that Ronald Reagan was just trying to go to war. I don't think, in hindsight, it's pretty remarkable what ended up happening, which was that he was going to. What was that?
Oh, nothing. They can't hear it.
Oh, okay. Got some things in my ear. No, going head to head, that capitalism was going to defeat them by making them go broke. We were going to be able to get the resources that they couldn't. But anyway,
and we did. We outspent.
How did we get off on this tangent?
We outspent communism. There's no question about it. No,
so
back to
the pool. So it's a pool party,
right?
The breaking news pool party. Oh, Texas, please! I didn't even realize it was in Texas. I mean, this broke so fast. All I saw was a pool party and some cops looking like they were crazy.
Okay, so the title of the video, which I have up on Facebook, if you go to facebook.com/Smith Radio, you will find the video. And I saw that part. Oh my God, dude! The cop has these kids on the ground.
Well, there were several cops there,
but there was one cop.
One of them was very.
He was recluse, and he pulled his gun out and pointed it at teenagers.
Yeah, and of course the teenager started running away.
Oh yeah,
and you know why? What kind of a mindset does one have to think that the only way you're going to survive an encounter with a cop is to escape them?
Oh, everybody's posting the video now. We got Mediaite. Everybody's sharing this video around everywhere. This is going to be huge all week.
Okay, let me tell you my take on it.
Because it was a white cop!
Well, all three cops were white. There may have been more than three, but I saw three cops.
And the majority of all these kids are black.
A vast majority of the kids are black. A vast majority. There may be a couple.
Dude, the one kid that had on the ground, his haircut was like DJ Jazzy Jeff and then Fresh Prince.
Well, actually, there were two of them, and both of them had the same hairstyle. It was the bleached, not like white bleached, but like brown bleached. Like it wasn't black hair. But it was a box cut from back in the day.
Is that coming back? What is
like
that?
Early 90s.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess early 90s. But here's the funny thing about that early 90s box cut look. Back then, if you were black, you definitely had it.
Oh, you had to have it.
If you were white and you were in that culture, you probably had it. That's how popular it was.
Vanilla Ice.
Well, yeah, he sort of had some sort of weird thing going on there.
Yeah, but he definitely had the box thing, but it was like his own flavor.
Yeah, because it had like the bangs stuck out the front.
No pun intended. Vanilla Ice, his own flavor.
Oh, yeah. I guess that is his own flavor. Whew. No, but so anyway, but here's the funny thing. These days, with the new, the old box cut thing coming back, it's like very few people, like percentage-wise, are going that way.
Right. It's not going to make...
People are
It's not going to make a comeback like it... It's not going to make a comeback. Whatever did...
Well, let's talk about it for a second.
Comeback? What made a huge comeback? What one thing made a massive... Bell Bottoms never made a massive comeback. Oh, yeah, they
did. Are you kidding?
They tried.
Everybody in the late 90s was wearing bell bottoms. And it was funny because in the...
Really?
Yeah, everybody!
Not me. I never
did. They called it boot cut.
Oh, they still have that.
Yeah, well, okay, they're not... All right, I know what you're saying. The bell bottoms from the 70s.
You know the one when you walked and you heard somebody ding, ding,
They
ding.
were very flared. Yeah. Extremely flared.
And when you walked, they actually swayed back and forth and hit your feet.
Yeah, okay, those never 100% came back. But in the late 90s, I think the late 90s kids somehow embraced the culture of the 70s and then wanted to see it come back. Somehow, I don't know. When we grew up, the 80s, I'll tell you what, man, I felt like people were trying to bring the late 50s back. And
really?
The colors and stuff.
Like the greaser type thing? Or?
Well, let's put it to you this way. You know that look that you see when you walk into, Back to the Future.
Right.
They walk into the diner and the colors and the shapes.
Talks to the black guy mopping the floor
yeah,
about
he's gonna
running
be the
for
mayor.
president. Or
the mayor.
The mayor.
And the guy behind the counter says, "What do you? Is there gonna be a flood or something? Would you come off the Navy ship?"
Because he was wearing the vest.
Right, the sleeveless thing.
My wife, born and raised in L.A. My wife comes here to Cincinnati at the age of over 25, we'll say.
Okay.
Because she's stuck on hold at 30.
Okay.
And my dad...
That's 29, by the way.
Yeah. My dad owns those vests.
Oh, okay. Oh, you mean the real life vest?
No.
Oh.
It looks like a life vest.
Oh, you're saying that it's a coat.
With no sleeves.
Okay, I got you.
And it's got the puffs in it, and it's down and everything, and he was wearing it, and she's like, what is he wearing?
Oh.
I said, well... Those things are kind of popular around here.
Well, if you were a Michael J. Fox fan. Yeah. All right, so anyway.
I so desperately wanted one of those coats
back
then. But
that look, the colors, those bright pastel, like blue, baby blues and the pinks and stuff like that. Back in the 80s, I mean, look at the neons and stuff like that. I think that the 80s... Right. Yeah, I think that the 80s kids were stealing the style from the 50s.
That's very, very possible.
But then when you get to the 90s, they were stealing the style from the 60s, 70s. Late 60s.
Late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, through the 70s.
Well, because when did they ever start with the really tight pants, crotch pants? Like, Led Zeppelin, like the lead singer had.
Well, Led Zeppelin was wearing the bell bottoms.
Well, his pants were painted on the top.
Yeah, and then
bell bottom on the bottom.
Yes,
right.
Yes. No, that would have been... definitely mid to late 90s.
Wow.
For sure. Because I was kind of involved in that culture because of the skateboarding.
Yeah. Wife says skinny jeans are a big thing coming back.
Coming back?
Well, they've been around for a while, but she says that a lot of the kids...
I hate them. It's like somebody grabbing a hold of your scrotum and squeezing tight and then having to have them follow you around all day doing that. That's pretty much what it's like. And if you have to sit down... Well, you might as well just unbuckle.
Well, look at
unbutton the thing just to sit down.
No, these kids a lot of them are wearing the skinny jeans, and it's huge. I don't get it.
Oh, but it's kind of going out
all the way down to their ankles.
Yeah, all the way.
Yeah.
Including the ankles.
Right.
Right, I know what you're saying. And they're cut so that they kind of hang off of you all the way around, and then they grab.
Oh, they're low hip cut
And high crotch.
Yeah.
See, I grew up
What an odd combination.
Yeah, see,
low hip, high crotch.
See, mid-90s, early 90s, or I would say mid to late 90s, I wanted a lot of room there in the area that I need some space, a little bit of airflow, something.
Yeah.
Oh. So anyway.
Back from crotch pants.
So these kids have a box cut.
Right.
But they look like they can't be a day older than maybe 14.
Right.
And so, totally misguided, man. I mean, they're being taught by the media. Thank you, drive-bys, who have lots of blood on their hands. They are directly responsible for a lot of deaths.
Well, this whole week has been. We've got extra other stories as well that are related to this. There's no question about it. And the media with the sensationalism, they love it. They're
going to try to spin this.
Kick them when they're down. Kick them all around. Find out who's crying, who's in pain. Let's get the misery, because this is the real reality TV to them.
Yeah, now they're just like, well, let's take. This is what they're doing. If you know anything about reality TV, which most people don't, there's a loose plot, a loose script that they try to follow
before the show even starts.
Right,
they've got an outline.
Right, and so what they do, and of course it's flexible because things that they don't foresee might happen in the actual taping
that are funny and that work out. And if they don't catch it, they'll say, cut. Okay, I want you to do that just like you did that again.
Well, I'm not accusing of that.
I am. I was on the set. I've seen it.
Okay, so some reality shows may actually do that. One in particular would probably be like the Duck Dynasty, because their shows are so perfectly choreographed and scripted. You can pretty much kind of tell. But I don't know, like Survivor, let's say, the way I look at it is this: follow them around with cameras all day, look at the footage you have, and try to weave a narrative around what they have on video.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. The major problem with that is budget. To film say 24 hours of film, that's only one day, you now have to have a handful of guys in the editing room to review all of it.
Not necessarily, because here's what you do.
Well, you can take notes throughout the day,
Exactly,
which they do. They have somebody on the set that does that. Somebody on the set that does that. But then they will go back to the room and they will watch all the footage. And these people are, when I say they're OCD, they really are.
The editors.
Yes.
But hold on. That's why you have a manager come in who, his job is, all right, we got this film rolling 24 hours. I am not about to subject my editors to meticulously going through that. So what I'll do is I will make note of anything caught on film that should be part of the show. And I'll take what I have that I want shown and try to weave it into a narrative.
See, now
that may not even exist.
I know, but you're using common sense and logic. We're talking about Hollyweird. We're talking about Hollywood.
Oh,
and
man.
They are the puppet master. They control the strings. And when they want something specifically geared, here's our outline. We're sticking to it. We might deviate slightly, but this is what we'll get.
Well, I'll bet you that happens on some shows, but I don't think it happens in every single show. I think it would be exposed too easily, kind of like the WWE.
You know what? Oh, ye so little faith.
There's so many reality shows out there. There's probably a million different ways to skin a cat.
Okay, breaking news, everyone. The list of who's gay, who's got a fake marriage, and who doesn't in Hollywood is too long to go down. And you're shocked because you're like, well, no, that's not possible. It's not true. That's been out for decades. And I guess the only people who don't know is everybody outside of Hollywood.
Well,
because all of Hollywood knows all these hunks Like Marlon Brando. Nobody. I mean, for years and years. Yes.
What? Wait,
Are you
what?
kidding me? Come on.
Marlon Brando?
Yes.
What are we yesing about? What?
Maybe it wasn't it wasn't buy, it wasn't try, it was whatever. It's anything.
What?
He found James Dean working at a restaurant. It was James Dean's boyfriend.
What?
Yes!
Oh, I'm not. Breaking news.
That's how James Dean came out as.
So we're talking about James Dean now, too.
Yes. Oh, he was so. There was no question about what he.
What?
Yes.
Oh, the jury's out. For those of you listening at home, you can make your own decision.
And Hollywood loves to play on the fact that everybody in the Midwest is kind of like, what is it? Is it Kansas, the show me state?
Okay.
Show me, don't tell me.
Right. So because we didn't see Marlon Brando.
Right.
Whew.
Right. You can say it all day long, but I ain't going to believe it.
We have a clip of Marlon Brando.
Straight from.
It was actually a parody of. I'm talking about the clip that we play at the end of the show every day or every week.
Oh, right.
That is a parody of Marlon Brando.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Not that one.
Not that one. Oh,
do you have it?
Yes, of course.
Well, it's taking you forever, Mr. Producer.
Oh,
cut 23. Go.
Cut 334.
Unfathomable.
There we go. Unfathomable. Without fathom.
Without the full clip 336. See,
with unfathomable power.
What kind of power?
Unfathomable. It's without fathom.
Okay, so that was not Marlon Brando. It was somebody making fun of Marlon Brando in his role as Superman's father in the original Superman from 1980.
And what is amazing is
or 79,
this
80
was
something.
a kids' cartoon show, and my wife had no clue.
No, nobody knows.
No, I mean, you had to be our age.
Yeah, or at least. I mean,
maybe even older.
Let's
than
be
us.
honest. I had to watch Superman after it was several years old. I mean, I was I was too young.
We didn't see that in the theaters.
No, I was way too young to watch Superman in theaters.
And then say Marlon Brando to somebody at the age of 35.
What's the last one he was in? The
he was with
Leonardo DiCaprio.
he was in another one with De Niro. Just before
they were all in this. Wait. Oh, that's right. That was a different one.
Where De Niro was a crook.
They were both con men or something.
Yeah,
like that.
con man. He was dating a black girl.
Yeah.
And he had to run, and the cops were coming after. Anyways.
Yeah.
If you look at the back scenes, and Marlon Brando was like 350 pounds. Huge. And if you look at the outtakes on that video, it just got so sad. Because back in the day, Brando was so good at ad-libbing. Like, he didn't go by the script. He went by his own script a lot.
He was in The Score.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
The Score.
He was in, he did his own script a lot of the time, and it was really super good. But now in The Score, which came out in...
Oh, several years ago. It was 2001.
2001, okay. The outtakes of that, it's so painful how he's trying to be so good or so funny or so witty or by ad-libbing, and it's just awful. It's so bad. People say that Marlon Brando, he owned an island, and his last years, I guess 5 to 10 years, ran away to that island, drank wine and ate cheese all day. And so that's why he was 350 pounds.
Did you hear about him in
James
Apocalypse
Dean? Yeah,
Now?
So we've moved on from that.
Yeah. Apocalypse Now. He was supposed to be not that big, and they said, "Dude, you've got to lose a couple tons." And he was like, "I got unfathomable weight. I'm not going to change for you because I'm a big star." Because this was after The Godfather, so he was not going to do anything anybody said. But they wanted him in Apocalypse Now.
He's got unfathomable weight.
So they had to change the script and the entire plot had to be changed to account for the fact that there's this colonel in the army that weighs 1,000,000 pounds. And they said, well, let's make him rogue or something. Because you can't have some colonel or general or whatever he played in Apocalypse Now that weighs that much. It wouldn't look right. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, because in any branch, even the fattest branch is the Air Force.
No, the Navy.
What?
They make you gain weight there. I don't know what it is. It's something to do with the fact that they take the chow hall seriously on the boats. And you can't work. I mean, where are you going to go long distance running on a battleship?
Well, but in the Air Force, I mean, even in basic training, we have the carousel of cake.
Really?
We could go up for dessert in basic training. If you ate everything on your plate, you could go up for dessert.
We may have had something that resembled dessert, but we certainly couldn't go up for seconds. But Navy, I'm telling you, Navy people, I was just like shocked. I couldn't believe it. I was like, are they within regs? The buttons were like, looked like they were about to scream.
Well, but even so, my whole point is that I still think it's the Air Force. But the whole point is even in the fattest people in the military they're really not that fat. I mean, not as fat as Marlon Brando was. And you really don't hear about fat military personnel.
Well, he must have lost the weight since then.
They will remove you from the Air Force if you get too fat. You'll get kicked out.
Well, they always threaten that in the Navy. But everybody knows that it's just an empty threat. Anyway.
Right.
So we're going to talk about this video.
Okay,
There's
do you
so
want me
many
to play
things.
some of it?
Oh, you have it? What?
Oh, yes!
All right, whatever. It's like a 7-minute video, which is cool because it gives you a little bit of context. What I don't like about it is
I clipped it down to
well, there's probably several parts. The big one is at the end when the cop gives the speech to the little kids sitting on the ground. But I think the biggest shock, there's this one cop that is just, you know how when you go up to a hornet's nest and you don't mess with the hornet's nest, they look at you funny, but they won't go crazy.
Right.
But if you throw a shoe at that hornet's nest, you can't get the hornets to calm down for hours. You have to leave for a day.
When that cop pulled his gun on those kids, there were two other cops behind him, and one of the cops, I don't know, it wasn't like he reached out for him. Maybe he did, but he got real close to his back and actually touched him. The one with the gun drawn, the other cop touched him to his back, almost kind of like he wanted to pull him back down. As soon as he touched him, he pushed him away. And, he was like,
and you could tell the other two cops. Here's the thing: the other two cops that were in this video, they never escalate their seriousness.
Well, at the beginning of this,
you could tell they wanted to take him off the side and say, "Hey, look, buddy, man, we're cool. We don't need to get crazy."
Right. These are kids.
But they were afraid to say anything to him.
Right. The kids. And that's at the beginning of this clip, that cop is, you catch that cop. I believe so. Here, let me just play it when she comes there.
Whoa, sir, get on the ground. Hold up, sir. I told you to stay. Get your asses down on the ground.
You go right there.
In the grass.
He's running around.
Get your ass out of here.
So there's people standing around. He's telling them to get their ass out of there.
Sir, we just came for a birthday party. Please.
They were pleading for something. I don't really get it. I mean,
this guy's trying to handcuff everybody.
Well, I think he only handcuffed one person because he probably only has one set of cuffs.
You run around here with 3 pounds of goddamn gear on the sun.
Who beeped it out?
Because you want to screw around out here? Y'all keep standing there and run your mouth.
Okay, hold on. Okay. That part right there, I had to get that part because he looks at these kids and he's like, you make me come out here.
With 30 pounds, and no, he said run around.
Run around here with 30 pounds of effing gear.
But why?
In the GD hot weather.
And I don't have a problem with him saying that or being upset about that because when a cop tells you to stop and you run away from them, they have to chase you. And maybe they should be teaching cops, look, if you want somebody to stop, the way they train cops is that it's important to maintain authority. And that may be, a lot of people may disagree with that.
I disagreed with a cop on that.
Yeah, I mean, they have to maintain authority. So if they tell you stop and sit down, or stop and get down, lay down on the ground, whatever they tell you, if you blatantly defy them by turning 180 degrees and sprinting away, in order to maintain authority, they have to stop at nothing to try to attempt to stop you and force you to do what you said. And I think that that's where the two cultures have this a total impasse.
No, I don't think it's a cultural thing because I've got it in me and I'm not
Yeah, but you
black.
have a little bit of that. No. It's not about skin color. It's about culture. And yes, you have a little bit of that culture in you. Yes. Brian.
Who told you I have black in me?
Well, it's a cultural thing.
Okay.
Now,
she came to my house knocking on the door and said, your neighbor claims that you bumped into their car. I said, okay, whatever. Well, can you?
And then the black came right out of you.
Right? She said, well, can you step outside? I said, no. Sir, I'm going to have you step out of your house. No, ma'am. I'm good right here.
Really?
Door wide open. I'm right here. She started getting belligerent, pulled out the old cell phone.
Wait. This was a cop?
Yeah, female cop.
A cell phone?
I pulled out my cell phone.
Oh, I
pulled out my cell phone.
Okay.
And I said, I'm going to record this because this looks like it's getting... Well, sir, you're obstructing my ability. And she got flustered.
She knew she was wrong.
Well, yeah, she said, you're obstructing my ability to investigate the situation. If you're not going to cooperate... Okay, sir, I'm going to go talk to my boss, my sergeant. So she left, came back and said, sir... we're going to put a warrant out on you. We need. I said, what?
A warrant.
A warrant? What does that mean? It's an empty threat. When they say we're going to put a warrant on you,
that means that that within the next week or so, they may be able to come try to find you.
So right. So I called the police station, and the dispatcher got belligerent with me. Said, "What's your problem? Were you guilty?" Are you guilty?
Okay.
You're guilty.
And so let's talk to the audience.
What are you hiding, sir? Why don't you step outside if you're not guilty?
Let's talk to the audience about this. This is a trap that is completely illegal. Never stand up anywhere in any court except for a kangaroo court.
Which there seems to be springing up everywhere nowadays.
The whole thing is that in order to get arrested or in trouble or be asked apprehended and held against your will by a cop, there has to be probable cause. And that includes searching and seizing.
And I told him on the phone, I said, I have rights. It's like, what rights are you talking about? What are you talking about, rights?
He didn't know. He didn't know.
Yes! I said, I've got rights. He said, what rights are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Yes. And I told him, I said, well, I have the right to remain silent. I have the right to search and seizure. He said, sir, we're not here to search your house.
Okay.
Well, so why don't you just go outside and cooperate with us, and we can get this taken care of quick. If a cop asks you to get out of your car and come back to his cruiser because it's raining and it's easier and we'll get this done faster, don't do it.
Well, you don't have to.
Don't ever get out of your car to get in a cop cruiser.
So in order to search your vehicle or seize any of your property or arrest you, there has to be probable cause.
And I had an argument, a full-fledged argument with three police department, 3 cops, and the sheriff. So it was local Green Township and a sheriff who pulled up. And I was having a full-on debate with the sergeant about probable cause.
Right.
And he's getting angry, yelling at me, and not letting me talk edgewise. And finally says, it's wide open for interpretation. It's not my fault. That's just what it is.
Well, he's wrong.
And so he rolls out.
So the probable cause is there has to be he has to have probable cause that you broke a law.
Right.
And if nothing else, if he doesn't have that probable cause, then whoever's accusing you have to take you to court, and they just hash it out in court. But they can't arrest you unless the cop believes that you broke law. Here's a good example. If let's say you have you're cooking meth in your living room, all right, and you have the entire lab right there.
Okay. Oh, the windows have aluminum foil on them?
Everything is obscure from view.
Okay, so aluminum foil on all glass
Now,
windows.
when a cop comes and knocks on your door, which they have a right to do,
Right.
and you have the right to not answer it if you don't want to.
Right.
If you open the door just enough just to peer out,
Right.
that's fine.
Right.
You don't have to open up the door.
Can you do like on Tom and Jerry where they open up the little mail chute and you look out?
You can do that.
Okay.
You can do that.
Okay.
And they can't bash your door in. They just can't do it.
Apparently you don't know the new laws that are out there right now.
Well, no, those would be called unconstitutional laws.
We have breaking news later on in the second hour.
Oh my goodness! So anyway,
On battery
now
rams.
here's where probable cause comes into play. If you flip open the door all the way and they can see the meth lab,
Right.
they have legal probable cause to come into the house and arrest you because they see the meth lab. Or let's say you have a pot plant growing right in the middle,
Or
or
let's
whatever.
say you're in college and somebody left the door wide open.
Yeah.
And the cops knock on the door
while it's wide
while
open.
it's wide open. You come out in a sleeping stupor and say, "What's up?" And the cop says, "I don't know, but tell me where'd that brick of weed come from
There
on your
you
table."
go. Right, and that would be probable cause.
Right.
That's fine. So you don't want to give the cop evidence or anything like that.
And by the way, if you listen to our show regularly, that did happen to me. There were 4 roommates.
Yeah.
2 of them, we were all sleeping. 2 of them went out and bought a brick of weed. The guy apparently got so high that they left the door open.
And fell asleep or something like
Fell
that.
asleep,
Oh my
left
gosh.
it there, and my brother lived next door. He called the cops because there was a PlayStation missing.
Okay, and the cops come looking for a PlayStation.
Right, my brother's like, well, my brother's roommates were at this party. The cops are like, well, let's go question them.
They come down, they see a brick.
So my brother
Oh.
knocks on my bedroom door and says, bro, you need to get up. I'm like, why? It's like, the cops are here. I'm like, why? So he tells me, I come out. I'm looking at the weed. I'm looking at the cops. I'm like, dude, it's not ours. So 2 roommates fessed up to buying the weed,
Okay.
gave me their debit cards and the PIN numbers and said, pull out the cash to bail us out, man.
Bail us out.
And so I did.
It's my dad's credit card.
The cop was saying that he didn't want. He was trying to keep my roommates from giving me their wallet and stuff.
That's messed up.
It was, and he's like, "I'm taking all 4 of you," and he's like, "No, it's just us 2. No, all of you." He's like, "No, if you take us all, then I can't bail out." It was like good cop, bad cop. The good cop was like, "Yeah, you need to bail yourself."
Oh wow. Anyway, so
Probable cause.
yeah,
Lesson learned.
yeah,
Let me play more of the
yeah,
the
sure.
audio.
Let's
Okay.
hear more of this video.
Get out of here, I already told you.
So he's yelling at him to get out of here.
I don't care. You're leaving now. You're
Now,
leaving
the
now.
arguing with the cop is clearly a mistake. on the
I've
part
done
of
it
this
many times, and it never works out.
Well, because just like you, and just like these kids, back then, you were probably doing it all wrong.
This is where he gets the black girl, skinny, tiny little black girl. Face plants her into the ground.
Not yet. They're all talking crap to him.
Okay,
And he's-
I heard her voice.
Oh, there's a mob up. They're just screaming at you here. All that screaming you hear is him finally trying to arrest this girl.
This is the girl on the ground screaming, "I'm calling my mama now."
And then she starts screaming, call my mama, call my mama. So stop it real quick and we'll talk about this. So basically, yeah, because they won't know what they're looking at. We saw the video. You should watch this video and then come back and if you're listening, we might be listening. If you're listening to us live,
Right.
then just watch it afterwards. But we'll describe it real quick. So as he has a couple of kids sitting down, there's just a mob of people in groups of like 6 and 4 milling around, and they want to be right up close and personal with these cops doing their job.
Everybody is on the street. Everybody. There's
Sidewalk,
hundreds,
street,
it's like there's
grass.
hundreds of people, all kids, all in bikinis and bathing
Because
suits.
it's a pool party, yeah.
Right.
All the boys
I've
are in
never
bathing
seen
suits. All
a
the
pool
girls
party that big before in my life.
Well, I mean,
unless you were at the YMCA pool party.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
this
trying
was
to think.
literally a local city pool that they were at. Ahead of it.
One of the first things I noticed was this looks like a nice neighborhood.
Yes, this was an affluent neighborhood. This was not by no means.
The grass was well taken care of.
Right, it was not the hood, not by no means.
I mean, nice landscaping, nice. There was no dead spots in the lawn.
Right.
Nicely manicured lawn and everything, and so
the houses weren't cheap houses.
Oh no! In fact, you know what? I didn't see any houses directly in the video, but it would not have surprised me if there were dotted McMansions,
right?
You know, in between the nice landscape. So anyway, so the cops are there to bust up a domestic disturbance. What was said in the article was that a mother of one of the kids and another kid got into an actual fight, like some girl and a mother. It didn't. I'm assuming it wasn't the mother of the girl. You know what I mean?
Right.
It wasn't a girl and her mother. It was like a mother of one of the kids and one of the girls got into a scuffle. Obviously, must have been bad enough for somebody to say, "I'm calling the cops." So the cops show up, and the only thing none of this is on tape. What I'm telling you right now, so I can only assume what must have led to what we see in the beginning of the taping of this YouTube video, which was people probably getting in the cops' way of trying to figure out what's going on with this domestic disturbance. And you got technical difficulties?
Yeah, but we'll keep going.
Okay. You can't do this every time. It's 100% accuracy. Anyway, I'm yelling at Brian about some technical difficulties.
Well, I've got the quote from the kid who was shooting the video.
What'd he say? Is his name Brandon?
No.
No, it's not?
It's Donnie Brasco.
What?
He was undercover. Anyway, so this kid, he says, and I quote, "I think a bunch of white parents were angry that a bunch of black kids who don't live in the neighborhood were in the pool," said the 15-year-old.
Well,
he